Hello everyone. How's everyone? Okay. So today we're going to start with our second chapter. Okay. The first chapter pertains to what is performance. Okay. How do you manage performance in any company? Now the name of our second chapter is performance measurement, its evaluation, and what are the different improvement tools. Okay, so ideally if you have a look on the name, on second chapter we are going to take into consideration various tools that can be used for performance management. Tools for what purpose? Tools for the purpose of implementing the strategy. So ideally, when we were discussing with the first chapter, we used to not discuss about implementation. Our first chapter focus was ideally what do you mean by performance? How is performance measured? Which cycle should be good? How the sales should be done? How the customer should be happy? But now, theoretically, we have made the complete plan. Okay, our strategic plan is ready for performance. Next part is strategic performance implementation. Okay, so strategic performance. Planning part is the writing part which we have completed in the first class. Now, strategic performance, second part is what implementation. So, in this implementation, there are various tools which various strategists have suggested which can be used, and on that basis, things can be taken into consideration, the environment can be taken into consideration, various factors like the labor, like the communication, like the learning perspective, customer perspective, profit perspective can be taken into consideration, and accordingly, we can move forward in the book. Okay, so our name of the second chapter is performance. Now we know the meaning of performance management, or we know the meaning of strategic performance. Now, how do we measure it? How do we evaluate it? And what are the various tools that are available? Okay, so there are a number of tools that have been suggested. We will directly go on the first tool. The name of the first tool is the balance scorecard. Okay, the introduction part we will do that later. First, we will start with the concept. Okay, so the first concept is the balance scorecard. We have discussed about the balance scorecard in the last chapter. Okay, let's start. Now, as discussed in the first first chapter, there are four elements of the balance scorecard. The first element is the financial element, that the financials of the company should be good, the profit margin ratios should be good, the ratios in the company, the gross profit, the net profit, the NPV should have a positive impact on the company. Then we studied no, we also need to look at various customers also. What is the customer's perspective? Customer's perspective is that they need delivery on time, they need quality products, they need variety, they need customization, for example. Okay, our company will work towards customer perspective also. Our company is also ready to work towards the financial perspective. But when we want our financials to be strong, when we want our customer to be happy, what is very important in our company is the internal process perspective. What does this mean? This point means that the internal process, for example, if you want the delivery to be on time, so our internal process, our internal supply chain of raw material, manufacturing, packaging, distributing, this internal process should be very good. Or if we want the financial perspective to be positive, the impact of gross profit, net profit, expenses, revenue is good, then we want the internal process where there is no leakage of expenses. So for the purpose of achieving good financial perspective, good customer perspective, we need the internal working of the company to be good. Like we need the P2P cycle to be good. We need the cash to order cycle to be good. And at the end, to achieve the internal perspective, we need to give learning and growth perspective to the employees of our company. They need to be updated, they need to have the knowledge, they need to know the system, they need to understand the complete working of the system. And if they are not understanding, then also appropriate training is being given to them. So traditionally what used to happen, I'll just tell you. Okay, first we have a look. So the balanced scorecard is a concept which takes into consideration the financial aspect as well as the non-financial. It takes into consideration not only the top management work, but it takes into consideration various operational factors also. It takes into consideration the internal environment. Internal environment means what? The factors that are internal to the company, like the employees, like the machine, and the factors that are external, that are outside of the company who are impacting us, for example, like the customer. So a balanced scorecard is not only a financial concept, it takes into consideration the holistic view of considering the entire company and then linking all these perspectives to the success of the company. So ideally, when the balanced scorecard concept started initially, all the traditional companies, okay, or we can say all the old companies, what did they used to do? They used to add only the financial aspect and they used to start doing the performance management. Initially, when the balanced scorecard concept came into existence, they used to score only what? They used to score only the financial aspect. Slowly and gradually, they understood that when we are scoring only the financial aspect, we are not having a balanced analysis of all the factors. What is balanced analysis of all the factors? Okay, now this is our environment and this is our small company. All the companies are working into an environment where there is government of India, where there is tax department, where there are customers, where there are suppliers, okay, where there is social requirements, where there are political. So these are all the factors that are external to the company. But a company has to survive in this environment. So the company needs to do what? The company only does not need financial growth. कंपनी को बैलेंस डेवलपमेंट करना पड़ेगा, कंपनी को बैलेंस मैनेजमेंट करना पड़ेगा. So whatever is their performance measurement, your performance measurement is not only equal to financial aspects, but also equal to multiple aspects, multiple external aspects that surround to your company. And therefore, slowly and gradually they came up with a concept of balance. Balance means all the aspects to be taken into consideration because you need to have a holistic view when you do performance. And then you're going to score it, and then as per the result, all the results will be evaluated and then the final decision will be done. So this was the concept of what? This was the overall concept of balance scorecard. Okay, now let's go to the module and have a review. Let's go and have a detailed analysis of what was the balance score. Okay, let's just a minute. Okay, now thus the genesis of the balance scorecard is what? Is a corporate scorecard which was used when initially the company used a scorecard which, in addition to the traditional financial measures, used to measure other factors with. So ideally what happened? Companies, what did they do? They used to do balance sheet analysis, right? They used to have the balance sheet analysis, they used to have the profit and loss analysis, they used to have the ratio analysis. So along with this financial analysis, few corporate made a scorecard. Scorecard in terms of what? Measuring the quality. For example, measuring the delivery time, measuring the cycle. Okay, so initially what happened? This concept was known as the corporate scorecard, where they used to do what? Which, in addition to traditional financial measures, use various performance measures like the customer delivery time, the quality, the cycle time of the manufacturing process, or any other process which needs to be effective in the company. So ideally, it started with a corporate scorecard where traditional financial aspects were taken care into, along with few other factors which was very important for the growth of the company. Then again, a great amount of analysis was being done in the balance scorecard. And then finally they came up with the term balance, which refers to the fact that the model provided what? A suitable balance between all, whether it's a short-term goal, whether it's a long-term goal, a financial goal, non-financial goal, internal performance, external performance of the company. And that is when this concept gained a huge amount of success because it was considering a balanced approach of all the external, internal, financial, non-financial, short-term, long-term. And then after this concept was theoretically made, okay, this concept initially was definitely made theoretically, then they used the balance scorecard measure that drives the performance. Measure means what? How are we actually going to measure? That is putting the balance scorecard into work. So ideally various theories were introduced and finally a balance scorecard along with the theory and how to use it a complete process was done. That thus it was declared that using the balance scorecard as a strategic management entire strategic management. Okay, what is a strategic management? Strategic management means what? There exists strategic planning, strategic formulation, strategic implementation, strategic thinking. During all this process, what can we do? We can have the balance scorecard ready. Thus, it supports the entire process of strategic management. And we can measure what? We can measure the effect. Thus, if you all go back and have a look at what was the evolution, the first came the corporate scorecard, then in a year or two they came up with the concept of balanced scorecard. But balanced scorecard, it was yet a theoretical process. Then they came up with the measures and how to put them into action. And once the complete theory of the balanced scorecard was completed, it was declared as using the balanced scorecard as a strategic management process. And then finally, let's start with the what do you mean by the word balanced scorecard? Okay, basically, balanced scorecard is the concept which we have already discussed, which stresses on financial, which stresses on non-financial part for the purpose of measurement. Always take into consideration BSE is always going to be what? It's always going to be a measurement. In paper, you are supposed to write this here. Okay, balance scorecard theoretically, last chapter there were only four aspects, four perspectives taken into consideration. Now we are moving ahead. But why are we using this tool? So there are two words. It's first of all a measurement tool, and it is very important for the strategic management. It not only helps the stock management, but it also helps the operational management. Okay, top management means Mukesh Ambani. It will be measuring the success of Mukesh Ambani, definitely, but it will also compute the operational performance, like the delivery time, the customer, the cycle time, the P2P cycle, the O2C cycle, the supply chain management. How is everything working in a company? Because balance scorecard is a discipline concept, because balance scorecard is a holistic concept. I'm repeating very important words again and again. Please mark those words very important from future point of view. At strategic level, definitely, person who makes strategy is going to use balance scorecard, but also the persons at the operational level are also going to use balance scorecard because it's a discipline and a holistic system. For doing what? For doing strategic management for the purpose of managing strategy. Okay, very important point. This point is very important from people point of view. And next, as we move forward, thus as a management tool, it's a management tool. It is helping the company in achieving what? In achieving the vision, mission, but with what? Along with a better performance level. So initially what used to happen in strategic management process, we used to make we used to make strategic implementation. That's but we used to not measure our performance. So now what they're telling us that along with strategic management, what you can do is performance. Performance management will also help you to achieve vision and mission only. But this can be done how? Along with measuring. How are we able to achieve what we have decided? Are we achieving that or not? Thus, as a management tool, it helps the company to assess overall performance. Are we improving our operational cycle? Are we able to develop better plans for future? So ideally here your focus is whether your performance is getting improved or not. Yes or no. Thus in the management process, what is it written? In the management, it is helping to do what? To assess your overall performance. To check whether you're improving your performance or not and have you made better plans or not. Okay, for example, okay, Nokia. Sales of Nokia were going down in the market when Samsung came into existence. Okay. So Nokia started doing strategic management. Okay, no, we'll change our plans, we'll do a different implementation. They were doing that, but they did not do performance. What is performance management? That is the company able to develop what is the company able to develop better plans for people. They stuck to their old plan and they were like, we will re-implement our old plan. And then they were not successful in the market because environment users an Android market. They did not go into the external market and check what the market is. They did not try to make better plans. They did not try to improve their process. They wanted to work in the same margin as they were working. I mean, therefore the company is not alive. Same is the case of Maggie. When mid case happened with Maggie, the Maggie company was shut down. But when they came, what did they do? How can we improve our product? What can be the better decision? And then they came up with a new formula for the Maggi. They discarded all the old Maggi. They made complete new Maggi. They had a new brand ambassador. They had new marketing strategy, and they again implemented marketing mix. And again, Maggi has come up with a share of 70% immediately, even though the company was shut down. Why? Because what did they do? Everyone is doing strategic. What is important? Are they doing performance management? What is performance management? Performance management focuses on, do you clearly know what your vision? Nokia's vision was not clear. Do they want to come up with the same phone, same technology, or do they want to upgrade? They were somewhere in the between. They were not clear about what they need. But on the other hand, Maggie was clear. Maggie's plan was clear, its target was clear, everything was clear that they again want to achieve 70% of the market. They decided, they communicated it means what in a company, there are many people who need to know. Okay, there is top management, there is middle management, that is bottom management. Everyone in the company needs to be aware what is going on in the team. Only then you can have a performance management because performance management works at top management level, middle and advanced. So ideally, first of all, clarify your vision, communicate your vision, set your target, link in the company. If your target is 25% profit margin, but you need to have resources after it so that you can achieve 25, and therefore you need to link it. Therefore, you need to align it. Only then you can achieve your target. Otherwise, it is not possible. And once your work is done, very, very important is to get feedback and learning from it. And thus, balanced scorecard is used by implementing all the companies in the strategic management process who are implementing. Implementing means they're launching a new product or they're improving the old product as a strategic management system for accomplishment of long-term vision they need to use performance management. And there are four factors in the process which need to be taken care of. Clarify your vision, communicate it with everyone, set your plans, initiate it, have a proper linkage, and the last point is to get proper feedback and learning from the. And thus, what we have studied in the first chapter, BSc framework comprises in-depth analysis of all the four factors, which are what let's just revise, which are customer perspective, then comes the financial perspective, learning perspective, and the internal. Though BSc model specifies on a handful critical measures within each perspective, additions of new measures is encompassed in the model whenever a worthwhile figure is achieved. They're telling even though the BSc model is focusing on the four factors, but if in the market, in the environment, any new factors comes into consideration, BSc model will always add so that we have a holistic view. And now we will go into detail of what does each method mean. Okay, we know the meaning of each and every method. We just go and fatafat review what does it mean. Okay, now just BSc is more than a measurement system. It helps us to what? It helps us to encompass new drivers of future financial फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस तो हर कंपनी पहले से ही करती थी लेकिन आप लोगों ने क्योंकि कस्टमर एस्पेक्ट इंटरनल एस्पेक्ट लर्निंग एस्पेक्ट ऐड करा है दैट मीन्स यू आर डूइंग समथिंग दैट इज बैलेंस. Now the first factor is the financial aspect. Now financial aspect means what? Here you are measuring the operating profit, the rate of return on investment, income, economic value added, what is your growth, what is your development, how much asset is utilized, how much machines are being utilized. Thus, whatever target you have set, have you achieved the improved version of it or not? Okay, our target is what? These financial measures will provide us feedback on whether improved operational performance is being actually being transferred into improved performance, yes or no. Then comes the customer perspective, and there are many angles for the customer. Okay, are we delivering them on time? Are we delivering them quality products? Is the customer satisfied? Are the customer loyal? Are they staying us with the long term? Is it not impacting their health? What is the market share of the customer? Is it increasing from 50% to 60% to 70%? Are we able to acquire new customers? Or are we able to sustain old customers? There are many aspects which are considered here. So in the customer aspect, the perspective captures the ability of an organization to provide quality goods and services, to provide delivery on time, to make overall customer service satisfied. Are the customer loyal to us? Are we able to increase the market share, customer retention? Are we able to retain old customer? Are we able to gain new customers? So see, for old customer, we are supposed to give them the quality. We are supposed to give them everything. But with that, our focus is also on increasing the market. Then comes the internal process as discussed. Internal process plays a very important role in achieving the financial perspective and in achieving the customer perspective. And thus you can see the first line. This perspective focuses on internal business results that will lead to financial and satisfaction. Because if your internal process is not good, you cannot achieve financial results. You cannot achieve customer results. Now, what internal process? Okay, internal processes like new innovation, internal processes like good technology, like delivery of the product on time, like post services, post sale services, having personal interaction with the customer. There are many internal processes, having a good PPT cycle, having a good OTC cycle, having a good supply chain management. Okay, internal process can be anything depending on what the company is. And so, the principle of the internal process, they have given us two examples. What basically does an internal process include? It includes various innovations in the company. Are the operational process efficient? Are they consistent? And what are the sales services? Is the post-sale services work good? Is the pre-sale services work good? And are all the operations in the company good? And for this, we need to check the people working in our company. Do they have the correct information at the correct time? Are they supplied with accurate and timely information? Are they skilled employees? Are they motivated employees? Are they ready to take new responsibilities? And when new responsibilities come, we need to acquire new skills, new capabilities, new technologies. Is there interest? And thus the balance scorecard tells we need to measure all the four factors. We need to link all these four factors and take the decision. And thus you can see all the four factors are not linked in like this any manner. It can be like this also. Sequence will not matter. But all the four factors need to be complete. Only then you can achieve your vision. Only then you can achieve your success. Okay? Now, next. What are the benefits of balanced scorecard? A very, very easy. Benefits of balanced scorecard will be we'll understand the process, planning will be better, there will be more communication, there will be more information, there will be more alignment of the work the company is trying to do. Okay, yeah. So I have created one shortcut for this. Let's start. Okay, the shortcut is pair C. Okay, but there are yes. Now, first point is C. Okay, what is the full form of C? Better strategy plan. Because it's a framework which considers all the four aspects because of which you can have a better strategic plan. Now you can have a better alignment. A, A. Okay. Alignment of what? So the answer here is alignment. Okay. Alignment and alignment. Alignment at a smaller level will be alignment of all the projects. So whatever projects you have taken, for example, project A, project B, project you need to do huge amount of work on all the projects. You need to take huge amount of things. So are our projects aligned? Okay, balance scorecard will help to check this. See whatever our organization target was, is project 1 plus project 2 plus project 3 helping us to achieve our target? Once at project level we are done, then is our process good? Okay, for achieving good project results, our process in the sense the financial process, the customer process, the manufacturing process, the packaging process, the distribution process, risk management process, all the process in the company are they also aligned. Once your project is aligned, once your process is aligned, you can have a better organizational alignment. And thus pair. P means better strategic planning. A is A. First, aligning a project. Aligning a project will always need alignment of process and then alignment of the company. I is better management people. BSC approach helps an organization design key performance indicators for various objectives. Better management information means what kind of information will be needed for financial perspective, for customer perspective, for internal perspective. So your management is clear about what information is needed. And you will always have R. R means improve reporting. Reporting, which reporting? Performance. You have designed the implementation process so well that the reporting will also be very good. Thus, the BSc can be used to guide the design of your reports and your dashboard. Reports in the sense in the form of the graph, whether our graph is increasing trend or not. And then the last point is the having a great communication, improve strategy communication. Thus, having a one-page picture of strategy because you are clear how the one-page strategy has to be implemented, you can easily communicate it to everyone, internally as well as externally, and all the implementation process will be done properly. Thus, what are the benefits of BSC? Is a good strategic planning, alignment of process, alignment of project, alignment of company. Okay, good information, good reporting, and good communication of the balance because of the balance score. These are the benefits of the balance score. And the difficulties of the balance scorecard will be definitely it does not have any direct relationship with shareholders. Okay, sometimes it happens the companies are working for increasing the shareholders' value, for giving them more dividends, for increasing the market value. But we cannot say that the BSCs are doing it will directly impact the shareholders, or it will directly tell us what all things will need to be controlled in a company. It will take into consideration अपने four factors and it will try to rectify those four factors. It will not lead to one aggregate summary of things. It is BSC is a dynamic process. Okay? Every company will implement BSC differently and every company will have impacts of BSC. You cannot just make a summary, okay, this. These are old static processes. But balanced scorecard is what? Balanced scorecard is a complex process as per the training. And therefore it cannot give you the summary and sometimes it can also confuse you. They are telling you to have a good customer satisfaction. But for customer satisfaction, huge amount of expense will be needed. But then that expense is not satisfying the financial perspective also. So sometimes because you're considering all the four factors together, this measure may give conflicting signals. And for achieving a company in which all the four factors are taken care appropriately, there has to be a great shift in the working culture of the company. Okay, there has to be great shift in how the company is working. So these are the four limitations of the value chain. That it is not directly adding value to shareholder, it cannot summarize it, it can be conflicting in satisfying all the 4 points, and the last point is the accuracy. And therefore a 9-step guidance is given for the value scorecard. Once you complete this, the process is done. So it means what? Let's have a look. Now, for the purpose of launching balance scorecards in any company, okay, first 6 steps are needed to be done. Then the balance scorecard will be rolled out to the employee, and then post balance scorecard actual work will be done. And therefore there are how many points? And therefore there are 9 points in. Okay, let's start now. So our first point here is assessment. First of all, assess where your company is and what your company wants to. What does assessment mean? First, assess where your company is and what your company is. On that basis, you're going to develop what? On that basis, the strategies will be set. Always the strategies are going to rotate around the objectives of the company. What were the mission or what were the mission statements of the company? So whenever you make a strategy, it has to be made as per the vision mission statement. The first 3 points. Okay, what are the first 3 points? Let's just have a detailed look. You need to assess where you are, accordingly make the strategy for the field, and then comes to the setting of the objective. Objective is the thing which revolves around the. And that's the first point is assessment, where you assess your current goal. Where are you currently? You analyze your current environment, you analyze what is there and what all needs to be changed. And then accordingly on the basis of the assessment carried out in the previous step, the organization can actually make a strategy. Okay. Thus, the names of the four perspectives of BSC will deviate from the original design depending upon the type of policy. Definitely. For every organization, the four factors considered will be different. And then the third point is whenever you are making strategy, objectives are the building blocks for the. And once this is done, then you make a strategy. Strategic map means what are the cause effect relationship between each objective. For example, there are three objectives. Sometimes it can happen, one objective can have a negative impact on the other. It can happen. So you need to map all the objectives whether they are streamlined or not. Once the objectives are streamlined, all the objectives are working in the one space, then you will measure your task. Measure means KPIs are developed. KPI means key performance indicators. For all the important projects, the KPIs are set so that we can measure this. So here you are just developing the KPI. Okay, for example, this profit margin to be achieved, such market share to be achieved, and then you are going to do take various strategic initiatives. Strategic initiatives means what is the gap between your performance. My performance target was 10, I needed to achieve. What is the gap? 2 is the gap. So for that two difference, you need to take what we need to take with this in. So what is the point? Link all the objectives. Are all the objectives in line? What are the cause and effect of each? Then measure it, set the KPI, and then complete the strategic planning. And the strategic mapping means cause and effect linking the of the dev of different strategic objectives. Okay, all the objectives should be aligned. Performance measurement means setting the KPIs which are critical to tracking the progress of the project. And initiative का मतलब क्या होता है? Whenever there is any gap in your performance, okay, you will take what? You will take an initiative so that you can close those. And once all the 6 steps are done, then is the concept of scorecard built. Once step 6 is completed, the organizational level scorecard system is ready to be rolled out to the employee. Goals are created for each employee. Each employee is made an enthusiastic and it is told how are you required to work in a company. Now the balance scorecard is rolled out and then comes is then last 3 steps are considered. Is your performance measurement. Whatever is the working in the company, it will be analyzed in analysis on what is working well for the company and what is not working well for the company. Analysis will be done. All the things which are not working will be aligned properly and again they will be. So that is performance analysis, measuring the performance, aligning the performance, and then evaluating their. So once the balance scorecard is rolled out, then comes the 3 points into consideration. First point is the balance performance analysis. Because here your data is transferred, therefore effective analysis helps in people making better decisions of what will drive improved outcomes, what is good for the company, and then aligning everything. Strategy is transferred from something only executive worry about to something everyone success. Aligning. So what top level management is thinking, aligning it with the middle, aligning it with an operation so that everyone in the company is good. And at last is checking. Here the leaders will come, they will come and evaluate, they will come and manage. Is everything being accomplished? If not, what corrective actions need to be taken for the state? How day-to-day operations are required to be implemented. Thus, evaluation is an opportunity to review and see. Here, leaders and the managers evaluate how well the organization has accomplished their desired results. Okay, whether their strategic planning and management systems were proper and whether their day-to-day working was being done proper. And here we end the concept of the balance scorecard. So we started with what is the overview and then the balance scorecard was designed which takes into consideration financial, non-financial, environment, external, internal, everything. Then the 4 aspects in detail. Then what are the benefits, what are the limitations, and what are the 9 steps for implementing the balance sheet. And this is one of the performance management. Okay. So from tomorrow we'll start with other performance management tools. Here we conclude our balance scorecard. Very important concept from future. Okay. Thank you.